Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, romance is in the air, but Wario is following it up with his garlic breath. There's a secret in the tip of the nose, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society is in the tip of the nose with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great. It's Valentine's Day Eve.
Right, that's correct.
The night where we all tuck ourselves in bed so Cupid can come down the chimney and shoot us in the heart.
And we leave our sandals by the door.
We leave our sandals by the door so that we can wear them?
No, I don't think so, because he, just puts candy in it? What happens on with the Christmas version of this?
Oh, yeah, like St. Nicholas, you leave your shoes by the door.
Right.
He either puts...
What is that?
What is what?
What is that? Like, when does that happen?
December 6th, I think. I'm serious. I think it's St. Nicholas Day, and I think that's December 6th.
Okay, and St. Nicholas is not Santa Claus?
No, I think he's like, no, he's not Santa Claus. He's St. Nicholas, but
okay.
I think they're... I think Santa Claus is like an amalgamation of all that kind of stuff.
Sure, okay.
All those European traditions.
Got it. So, St. Nicholas is he's like the Tyrannosaurus Rex of the Megazord that turns into Santa Claus.
Yeah. I'm not 100% following, but I believe it. Like, what you're saying rings true to me.
Right. Oh, I'm doing Power Rangers right now.
Yeah.
Do I need to just do, Voltron? Is that clearer?
Oh, so you're saying that Santa Claus is
a combination of all these other...
Oh, I see.
St. Nicholas being one of them.
Yeah, he's like a green pterodactyl.
Sure.
That's stretches out and
I think the pterodactyl's the pink one, right?
Maybe. We're wandering into territory that we don't know that much about in multiple directions.
And this is our Valentine's Day episode.
That's right. The important part is that Cupid will be visiting all of us.
That's right. And he'll be shooting us with little love arrows.
Yep.
And we must profess our affections for everyone in our lives, especially those to whom we have romantic feelings.
Yes, that's right.
Which is the only way to say what I just said. Mark, we're going to get into it. We're going to be celebrating Valentine's Day by the only way we know how is to cast Nintendo characters in the roles of what were our early models for romance, the 80s, 90s era Disney Renaissance animated movies.
Yeah, that's right.
Which activation for us in a lot of ways, right? Cartoons, musicals, kind of a perfect storm. But before we do that, I just want to shout out our Patreon, patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you go over there and are supporting us at the 8 or 16-bit level, you get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries that we're putting out, like NCS Arcade.
Yes, where Patrick and I are playing video games that, for the most part, we've never played before and or never beaten before.
Right.
But sometimes, like in the episode we just put out, we just want to talk about some arcade games.
Yeah.
And so we played the original arcade versions of Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., and Donkey Kong 3. Had a good discussion about that.
Yep. So that episode is available right now. If you have any questions or thoughts or observations about the original Donkey Kong arcade games, please email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. And we will incorporate those into our free listener feedback episode about Donkey Kong. So this is anyone who follows us on Patreon can access that episode, the listener feedback one. So it doesn't matter if you are supporting us there or not. Email us because we want to hear your thoughts about Donkey Kong.
Yes, and also for February, we're going to be playing Toe Jam and Earl.
Yes, the Sega Genesis classic
game?
We don't know. So yeah, Toe Jam and Earl is up next. Mark, have we sentenced ourselves to another miserable time? We don't know.
Oh yeah, we don't know. Yes, is this like an Echo the Dolphin?
Could be,
where it has some amount of following online, but it's really unclear if it's a good game or not. We'll find out.
We will find out. We'll all find out together. It'll be a beautiful thing. Thank you so much to all of our Patreon patrons, everyone who's following us over there. Thank you to Michael York, new patron supporter. We appreciate that. Also, if you want to email us and get in our Discord, you should do that. You email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society
at gmail.com.
We send you an invitation. You get in there. You can talk about Nintendo stuff all day long with everyone else in there who's also talking about Nintendo stuff. Mark, we're going to be getting a Nintendo Direct at some point here.
We must.
We
know April, if nothing else.
Right, the day after April Fool's Day, we know. And we don't have a term for, because obviously this episode is coming out on Valentine's Day Eve. We don't have a term for like the day after a holiday, right?
No, we don't.
We got to work on one because Christmas has Boxing Day. That's the day after Christmas.
Yep.
I guess it's probably a separate holiday.
I think so.
But so we need a Boxing Day for April Fool's Day.
Yeah, and that's the day.
And that's the day that there will be a Switch 2
Nintendo Direct.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you've got like a month and a half before that. So get into the Discord so you can be in there and talk about it. Mark, let's celebrate love. Let's celebrate Valentine's Day by casting classic Disney musicals with Nintendo characters. Let's set the terms first. What do we mean? What are like the classic 90s golden age?
Yeah, we're going to be
revival period.
Yeah, we're picking 3 of them.
Yes.
And so we're going to be doing The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast,
yes,
and Aladdin.
Right. And we're sort of cutting it off there and being like, this is the trio of movies that like reestablishes Disney as like a powerhouse, all of which have like the fingerprints of Howard Ashman like all over them, and like I said sort of at the top, kind of like big activation movies for me, big into animation, big into musicals, and I just like these movies.
Yeah, I feel like these were just inescapable if you were a kid.
Yeah, totally.
In the late 80s or early 90s.
And do you? I remember there being like a little bit of a moment, where like, as a little boy, that I felt a little bit embarrassed to like Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast as much as I did. And like I remember telling my friends that Beauty and the Beast was coming out on video, and like me being excited about it, and they were like, "Who cares?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then Aladdin is like also a boy movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, not to put it in these like horrible binary terms that like were imposed on me when I was a kid. It's just like interesting to see this sort of like shift from like the princess movies can be this, but can also be like Aladdin, and then like Lion King would follow, which is like even more kind of in like the boy vein of movies. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's interesting. I've never really thought about it that way. Maybe because I was young enough that like when some of these movies came out that I wasn't in school yet.
Oh, sure.
And so I wasn't really like, I was just living my own life.
You were living your own life.
Well, if I was excited about something, there was not really anybody to tell me that I shouldn't be.
Right. You had a bunch of sisters too.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Maybe that helped. I just that memory of like beauty, that I was excited about Beauty and the Beast coming in. It was, nominated for Best Picture, right? Like, I don't think I was being crazy.
No, you don't.
I was right.
You don't have to feel bad about being excited for Beauty and the Beast to be on video.
I'm just saying my friends at the time made me feel bad. So let's start with is there any like sense of irony, or not irony, but like it's just kind of funny to be like, yeah, probably in a lot of ways these movies shaped my idea of what like romance was when I was a kid.
I know it is funny, but yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Okay, The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Is where we are starting. And so we've got a handful of characters here. We need to cast them with Nintendo characters. And whenever we do exercises like this, first of all, there's that moment where I'm like, ooh, there are fewer female Nintendo characters than I would like there to be. And also like anytime where there's like romance involved, it's like Nintendo doesn't really
I
deal
know
in
it's so
romance
hard.
much.
Yeah.
But luckily we got a lot of supporting characters. We got a lot of like weirdo sidekicks and stuff like that. And hey, Nintendo is lousy with those.
Right.
Starting with the Little Mermaid, do you want to start with some of these like weirdo sidekick characters?
Yeah, maybe we do. Maybe we work from the bottom of our list to the
Yes.
top.
Right.
So starting with like Scuttle.
And probably distressingly, we generated these cast lists just from memory off the dome.
Oh yeah, with like no trouble at all.
Right, and no like second thought about like who's in this movie. So yes, Little Mermaid. Let's kind of take the trio of sidekicks.
Okay.
Because I feel like they're all like equally like clear in like their character game and like what their deal is. So we got Scuttle, the seagull. Flounder, the fish, and Sebastian, the Jamaican crab band leader.
Yeah, now I would say Flounder is the one who has the least amount of personality.
Yeah, I mean,
what is Flounder's game?
I mean, Flounder's game is that he's like a child, right?
Yeah.
Like he's naive. He doesn't really like, he like hangs out with Ariel, but like is mostly just like, I don't think, what does he bring to that friendship other than like he listens to her?
I think
nice,
that's it.
I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean that's great. That's great. I mean, Flounder's definitely friend zoned hard.
Oh yeah, real hard, but like he should be.
Yeah.
Eric is up there. Come on. And then Scuttle is a blowhard, pretends he knows stuff that he doesn't know.
Loud
for sure. But is also like is a traveler from like faraway lands, right? Like even if he's only pretends to be knowledgeable about the things that he sees, he does see a lot, right? Like he is Ariel's portal into the whole new world.
Yeah, yes. Well, although Sebastian is very knowledgeable about like the human world, he just doesn't encourage her in any way to get out there, which is more like Scuttle. Do you know what I mean? Like Scuttle is more talking about like the great things about it,
right?
Versus Sebastian's. It's like scary,
right? So Sebastian knows that it's scary, but I think Sebastian is also he knows about the surface world because he is just an educated crab,
right?
And also like he's probably traveled the world to get to where he is because he is a Jamaican crab, but they're like in Denmark or something, right?
Right.
And there's a French chef, so like I think he is just a learned, and he's the band leader, right? Like he is an educated crab, so he knows a lot about the surface world because he knows a lot about the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so who from the Nintendo canon fits into any of these categories?
Okay. Let's see. Well, for Flounder, is it somebody like Navi? Although Navi's maybe a little bit too directional, whereas like Flounder is like Navi is snapping Link to attention.
Right. In a lot of ways, Navi's almost more Sebastian-y, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that she knows a lot about like the outside world, is like a guide to Link, right? So yeah, I don't think. I think if Navi fits anywhere here, it's probably in the Sebastian role. Although I kind of want someone more musical in that role.
Yeah, I think so. Is Flounder a toad?
Is
Flounder Toad just like a
just
companion,
like a vanilla toad,
companion to Princess Peach?
You know what? Specifically, I'm thinking about the toad that Peach pulls out as like part of her down B attack in Super Smash Brothers, right? Where it's just like, where does she produce that toad from? And what's his purpose? To like take a hit for you? How does that move work? I don't really.
Yeah, I'm not really sure either.
If anyone wants to write in, let us know how that toad move works in Super Smash Brothers. I think you're right. I think Flounder is probably just a toad.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense to me. Scuttle presents himself as very knowledgeable, doesn't really know anything, is a little bit like comic reliefy.
Mm-hmm.
Who comes in with like a lot of like bluster, and like pretends to know.
What about like Rivali?
Okay, so he's a bird, right? So that's and Rivali is he's very confident, very like
Very
braggadocious.
confident, yeah, but not really.
But the
There's
thing
there's
is,
no like zaniness
there's no
to
zaniness to him,
Rivali.
and he's like kind of right. You know what I mean? Like he's a
Yeah.
champion.
Uh-huh.
Like we kind of need someone who is a fool, right? Um, okay, this might be wrong, and I feel bad even for suggesting it. But what about Tingle?
Oh yeah. Yes.
So Tingle,
Tingle literally knows the lay of the land.
he literally knows the lay of the land. He flies around with balloons, right? Not dissimilar to flying around as a bird.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Obnoxious to some,
mm-hmm,
lovable to others.
that's right. And is almost certainly going to misname things that he hands to you.
Yes. I think Tingle's
I
a
think
pretty
Tingle
good
is.
pull.
I think Tingle is solid here. Which now I think leads us to Sebastian, and we've already talked Navi possibly for Sebastian, but like I don't know, there are a handful of musical characters right in like the Nintendo like canon, but I'm like. He's not like Sebastian's not like Skull Kid or anything like that, right?
Right.
And he's not like the like crazy windmill guy cranking that little like hurdy-gurdy thing. Hmm.
Let's see.
It
I was thinking something like Blathers
okay.
from Animal Crossing, like
Sure.
the
He's educated.
museum
The museum curator.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, as long as we're dipping into Animal Crossing, what about KK Slider?
Okay.
That almost makes him too cool, though.
Yeah, I think Sebastian has to be a little more like know-it-all.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And just a little bit more like uptight, right? Cuz like when KK Slider comes to town, when he visits your island, first of all, you're grateful that he's there. But he does so effortlessly cool, and like Sebastian never does anything effortlessly cool.
Right, and Sebastian is more like he's a supporting player. Right? Like
Yes.
he's backing up Ariel, he's backing up Triton. Like he's there as support.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Blathers is the way to go here. Knows a lot about the
Uh-huh.
world, is reading a book all night long. I love that little bit of animation that like when you visit Blathers during the day, he's asleep, and when you see him at night, he's like standing there just reading a book.
Uh-huh.
Has to put the book away before he can talk to you. It's very funny. Okay, good. I like those. So now,
I think we should do maybe Eric and Triton because
okay,
they're like, especially Eric, I feel like is a less defined character.
yeah, yes, I would agree with that. And like, so what are Eric's? We'll do Eric first here. Eric's like main qualities are he's like a handsome prince who like
Yeah.
doesn't want to settle down.
Falls head over heels in love.
Uh-huh. And then is like, I don't care what's his like butler's name, or like the guy who's
Oh,
like
I can't
his
remember what that guy's
attendant.
name is. Yeah.
Me neither. Who just like wants him to do like what a prince is supposed to do, and he's like, I'm gonna go on a carriage ride with this mute lady who just showed up.
Uh-huh.
So okay, he's like he's got an adventurous spirit. He's sort of fun. But like is also like he's a good boy, right?
Yeah.
There's no like level of mischief to him or
No,
anything like that.
I mean, I think he's got like himbo energy a little bit.
Yeah, a little like a little bit of himbo energy, but like maybe not so dumb necessarily.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me pose this to you. Fire Emblem Three Houses,
Uh-huh.
Dimitri, the leader of the blue
Oh,
whatever, the
yeah.
Blue Lions.
Uh-huh.
Blue Lions? Blue Yeah, Black Eagles, Blue Lions, Golden Deer.
Yes.
Yeah, so the one who, in the flash forward that he like becomes this like Ned Stark like figure, right? With like the giant furs. But as a young lad.
Yeah. So this is like pre-time jump.
Pre-time
jump Dimitri.
Yeah, where he can be like,
yeah,
honorable,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I think that's really good.
All right, so we're going to go with Dimitri from Fire Emblem Three Houses for Eric. Now, King Triton. father of Ariel and like 6 other girls all named after like moons of Saturn.
King of the Ocean?
Presumably. Do we actually have to talk about Triton and Ursula together? Let me tell you
maybe,
why
yeah,
I think
yeah.
So there's some sort of history between those two, right? Like Ursula has either been like shunned by Triton and like the mermaids that he rules over, or they have like a romantic history or something. She wants to get Triton.
Yeah, that's right. It does definitely feel like there is history there.
Right. And so she's like, I'm going to get to him even if I have to like go through Ariel to do it. Her main goal is turn Triton into like a little sea worm thing. And that's like what kicks off the whole plot. Like that's why she takes advantage of Ariel. So like I just feel like there has to be we have to consider their relationship as we cast these characters. Even if they don't have that much like on-screen time together.
Okay.
So Ursula, obviously, sea witch, big octopus lady.
Yep.
Awesome. Is basically a drag queen.
Yeah,
like,
brassy,
rules.
sassy, bold.
Brassy, sassy, bold. Is this look? Do we pull in Bayonetta already? It's early in the in the casting exercise, but like, does Bayonetta go here?
Because Bayonetta is so like performatively
there's a drag
female.
There's a drag element to Bayonetta. There's a drag element to Ursula. I mean, I guess that's kind of it. That's maybe where the similarities end.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what about like I don't have a King Triton companion for this, but what about like Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie?
Oh, okay. Taking like the witch part of it kind of literally. And also transforms into like a hot lady. Happens in both Banjo-Kazooie and Little Mermaid. This isn't bad.
I mean, I don't have a connection to like a Triton.
Yeah, well,
but
I think we just need to like consider like the chemistry test. They don't necessarily need to be from the same video game or universe even, but like we just want to keep them in mind. I'm tempted as let's Gruntilda's a really good. Let's put that in the maybe possibly like I think that's probably what we're gonna go with, but maybe something else comes up. For Ursula. And then Triton, I'm sort of tempted to be like one of those kings of Hyrule, right? Because like, or maybe even specifically the king of Red Lions, right? That it is the boat from Wind Waker, right?
Yeah.
Who is spoilers for Wind Waker, the king, right?
Right.
But is that too like one for one? Am I just seeing someone who is a king and water related and being like, clearly that's King Triton?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's too literal. One thing that came to mind for me is like the King Zora from Ocarina of Time has a missing daughter.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. The thing with Triton is that like he is still a man of action.
Well, we also
right?
I mean, you're right. Where I thought maybe you were going, and this is where my mind went, is let's not forget that he is still a man, a buff man at that.
Right. Well, true. He is a buff man and a man of action for sure. So we're saying like he shouldn't be just a fish or shouldn't be a boat.
Yeah, I don't think he should be just a fish.
Right. Even though he is half fish.
Yes.
So, I mean, Zora is actually a pretty, like, solid point of comparison.
Okay.
What about,
Sidon.
Sidon? Yeah. Is Sidon too youthful, though?
Oh, yeah, but, like, old Sidon. Like, we're casting Sidon when he's wearing, like, a long gray beard.
Sure, so we're just aging up Sidon.
Yeah.
We're, like, putting him in the makeup from, what was the name of, from J. Edgar. Right, where they're just wearing that like those rubber Muppet costumes.
I never saw it, but that's one with wow,
Armie Hammer, right, and DiCaprio.
Yeah,
is that who's
DiCaprio.
In it? Yeah, and when they're like aged up, it's just like some real sloppy old age makeup. Yes, that's my point of reference here. Yeah, I mean, Sidon's not a bad pull here.
I mean, if you were going to we're making a Little Mermaid prequel,
Okay,
and maybe it's about the chemistry, the story between Ursula and
right,
Triton.
right.
Casting Sidon as a young Triton
It's kind of
isn't
perfect,
bad.
right?
So you just age up Sidon a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I like that. So we're casting Triton as old Sidon.
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. Very good. Which leaves us now with just the lead, just Ariel.
Yep.
Who dreams of being like she dreams of love as well, but that may be like a function of her being like 14 or whatever.
16. She's
16.
not a child.
Is she really that old?
I think she's 16.
Okay.
I think they make a point of it in the movie.
Okay, very good. I feel like in the probably in like the original fairy tale, it's like a much younger.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, she's probably like 11.
Like 11, right? Yeah, really just inappropriate and bad. But I feel like she's driven mostly by her desire to be part of a. I'm just quoting the song. Part of a different world, right?
Right.
She's fascinated by.
I mean, 16 is 16 is still pretty young.
16 is still
I've
pretty
never
young.
really
I totally
thought about
agree.
Never really thought about it. Like,
right.
no wonder he's like, you. At the end, when Triton's like, yeah, go ahead and get married. That's a little weird. Like, she could live up there without getting married.
Sure.
For a few years.
For sure. Right. And because, I mean, at that point, he's the one who gives her legs, right?
Yeah.
And he just does that by waving his
Triton.
Yes. Is that right?
Trident.
There we go. And why does he have that kind of magic?
Right.
Anyway, okay. So, yes.
But yes, she
She
wants something
is
more.
too young to be making these drastic decisions. You're right. But yes, she is driven by not just a love for this prince.
Yeah, because like I guess in the beginning of the movie she sees him and she's like hubba hubba, but
And who can blame her? He's a hottie.
And she saves him from drowning and all of that.
Right.
But really, I feel like you're right that the driver is that she's fascinated with the human world,
right,
and wants to experience it. And love is, well, I mean, of course, Ursula's curse is you have to find true love in 3 days.
Yeah, that's true.
True love, yeah.
It's true love's kiss
Mm-hmm.
that will unlock it. Okay. Yeah, but that's foisted upon her, right?
Yeah, that's true.
She's not like, I need to be made human so I can make out with this guy. She's like, I need to be made human because I like being human.
And now I guess I got to find true love in 3 days.
Right. Right. That's a side quest for her, is find true love. So I think that means that we need to really think about an adventurer type to be Ariel, right? Someone who has like a specific drive that is kind of looked down on by everyone else in her world. But these start to become complex motivations, and it's like, who in a Nintendo contains that
those
level?
Like multitudes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like the easy answer here is like, I don't know, Princess Ruto of the Zora, right, from Ocarina of Time,
right?
Because like we got another fish lady, right? But she sort of is love struck, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has this crush on Link all the time.
Yep.
So I don't. That feels like selling Ariel short.
I know what you mean. And then like another kind of like surface level comparison would be somebody like Zelda / Sheik from Ocarina of Time, where there's like a transformation element.
Right. Well, and I that's true. The transformation element is rock solid. I also just want to make sure that we're not. We have been so far, but I don't think we need to be locked into like we can gender bend these characters.
Totally, yeah.
All we want. That being said, what about Samus Aran? Samus Aran.
Mm-hmm.
For the not me that grew up saying Samus Aran. An adventurer. Goes into strange worlds. A kind of a solitary figure, even though all these other things are trying to control her. Like there's no romance part to Samus, but the adventure stuff maps on pretty solidly.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the idea of like transformation Like Samus becomes Metroid, she becomes like biomechanical warrior. So like some of that is in there as well.
Yeah, that's not bad. Like I can see that.
But there's something that feels unsettled about that, right? Like there's maybe Samus is too like grizzled and experienced, right? Like
Right, she doesn't really have the naivete.
right, yes. So we need someone with a little bit more
Pluck.
yes, and just like a
Less world weary.
yes, less world weary and just like less world experience, right? Someone who's just excited about things.
Okay, I don't think this is right, but maybe it'll get the brain juices flowing.
Yeah.
But what about somebody like Pitt?
Okay.
From especially from like Kid Icarus Uprising.
Sure. So there's the adventurous spirit. That's definitely part of it. He does take orders from Palutena, right? And like he's not like rebellious against her is the thing, right? Like
Right.
but I think that's a good like path to send us down. What about I'm looking at the WarioWare cast right now. What about someone like Mona? That's not good. That doesn't work. This is tough. Ariel is tough. I gotta say. I feel like we're hitting a roadblock on Ariel. What about like Link? Does that work?
No, I don't feel like Link is internally driven.
Yeah. Maybe you're right there. I don't know. This is a tough one.
It's hard because Nintendo characters don't have a lot of interior lives.
Right. Makes it difficult.
What about Toadette?
Okay, here we go. Toadette. What do we know about Toadette? We know that she's.
Wait.
Yeah.
What about Villager? Like your avatar character from any of the Animal Crossing games.
Sure, you move to a new town, island, what have you.
You're starting a new life.
And you're among people who are not like you at all. And you're collecting all of this stuff. Isn't it neat? This is pretty good, Mark. I mean, it's not to put like a player avatar in as the main character of this movie, but like it kind of works. I think that's right. I think the villager from Animal Crossing is going to play Ariel, and is a fine way for us to insert ourselves as Ariel if we want. All right, let's. Mark, I like that. If as we're going, we encounter something else and we want to come back for it.
Yes, we have that opportunity.
We
for
reserve that right. So for our cast for the Little Mermaid, Ariel is going to be played by the villager from Animal Crossing.
Eric will be played by Dimitri from the Blue Lions in Fire Emblem Three Houses.
King Triton will be played by Prince Sidon, but old.
Ursula will be played by Gruntilda.
Sebastian will be played by Blathers the Owl.
Flounder by Toad, specifically the one from
yes.
Princess Peach's down B attack in Super Smash Brothers.
Also, I think it's her down B. It might be her like side B. I don't really play it. No, side B is where she like flings her butt first, right?
Well, whichever one where she pulls a toad out of her pocket.
And Scuttle, of course, will be played by Tingle the Map Maker from the Zelda series. Very good, Mark. Let's move on to Beauty and the Beast. A colorful cast of mostly inanimate objects that have become animate. But also a beast and some French guys.
Yep.
Where would you like to start with Beauty and the Beast?
What if we start with Belle's father? What if we start with crazy old Maurice?
Crazy old Maurice. Look, it is so tempting here to go with Professor Egad.
I think it is.
It has to be Egad.
He's a little absent-minded.
Mm-hmm.
He is an
He's
inventor,
right? Is like lovable in his own way.
I
think the only like slight difference, what this does is it makes Maurice a little bit more Doc Brown-y.
Yeah, that is true.
Where like there's some kind of edge to this guy. He's generally gentle and pleasant, but like there's something behind his eyes where you're like, he would sacrifice me if push came to
Well,
shove.
what about? Oh, I'm blanking on the name of the character, but like the older inventor guy in Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, sure. Like Robbie, or like it's those characters, right? Like
Yeah,
Cora and Robbie. Um, yeah, that's not bad. I mean, I sort of think
It's a little more bland.
it's a little more bland. I say we just go with EGAD.
Okay.
Like I think it does twist the character a little bit, but in a way that I'm like interested in. Also, Mark, I know you and I, and we need to do whatever we can to not use a hot young EGAD in all of our castings, right?
Yeah, you're
So
right.
let's fight against our baser instincts, and
Well-
we'll use grown up, normal aged EGAD.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, this is perfect because Maurice is old.
Uh-huh. EGAD,
Egad,
also old. It's perfect.
it's
I think.
perfect.
Let's tackle Gaston and LeFou.
Okay.
So I had an idea for LeFou, and I want to pull from, because look, these guys. One thing you can say about all these guys: French.
French.
They're so French.
Uh-huh.
Who else is French? That's right, Glass Joe, the first guy you fight in every Punch-Out game, and I think that's got to be LeFou,
Okay.
because like, what good is LeFou in a fight?
Yeah, none at all.
None at all.
He's gonna like fall over, his pants will fall down, and you'll see his like underwear.
Right,
which
and then
are
he'll like check to see if his musket is loaded, and it'll like blow up in his face, and his
Uh-huh.
face will be covered in soot, and he'll like wipe it off with his shirt, and then he'll
it's
be like, "Oh
still
no, my good
so
shirt!"
mean that Disney was like,
Oh, he's gay, by the way. Right? Is that what
yeah,
you're gonna say?
the fool. His name literally translates
Right.
to the fool. Great. Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Okay, Glass Joe, just like a joke of a
Yeah.
character, right?
And maybe not the right body type, but
No, but that's that's okay.
yeah.
Like you can. There, fools come in many sizes.
Right, and maybe Glassjoe will do a physical transformation that will win him an Oscar.
Yeah.
Him an Oscar.
There we go. Look, he needs to find some success, right, in
Yeah.
his life, and he's not going to find it in boxing.
No. Yeah,
Um,
Glassjoe, very good.
Okay. Which now so Gaston is interesting, right? Because he needs to be handsome.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot not be handsome. Simply must be handsome. Handsome or bust.
Yeah,
But also a bad guy and stupid.
but charismatic.
But absolutely charismatic, yes. Because people just like to follow him.
Mm-hmm.
So who is that?
Yeah. Do we have any like really like vain Nintendo characters?
Who are also like? Is it important? It's important that they be villainous too, right?
Well, what if it is Wario?
Okay.
What if Gaston is Wario? Because Wario can obviously get people to follow him. That's
Yes.
the whole WarioWare Inc.
Sure. The thing that I've never really been able to understand is how he's able to start a company and get all these people to work for him.
Right. So
to
he
make
must have a
games,
certain
yeah.
amount of charisma. I think I would consider Wario to be vain.
Yes. Well, and also there are times when you're playing a WarioWare game where we will see Wario presented in different art styles, right? And we don't see the other characters presented in different art styles, just Wario. And sometimes he's got like a big square jaw and is like a very handsome, strapping individual. And it could be that what we're seeing normally as Wario is just like a representation of like the ugliness of his personality.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a cartoon character. This is more representative than it is literal. Maybe, just maybe, Wario in reality
He's a
handsome.
hottie.
Could be that Wario's a hottie.
Well, and also I feel like Wario doesn't read many books.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that Wario like values learning.
Yeah, which is consistent with Gaston. Yeah, I think this is good. Do we need to qualify that this is hot Wario or handsome Wario?
Right. Uh-huh.
We'll go with
Yeah,
handsome.
specifically this is handsome Wario.
Wario. Okay, great. Which we are allowed to do because we didn't modify EGAD.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, we are allowed one handsome modification,
Right.
and we're using it on Wario.
Which is a strange choice, right? I feel weird about that.
Yeah.
But it feels right to me.
I agree.
Okay. So now we can either go to the titular beauty, and the titular beast, or we can start casting some of these clocks and candlesticks and stuff.
Sure, the enchanted castle objects.
Right. So we got Lumiere, Cogsworth, and Mrs. Potts, and then I guess with Mrs. Potts we would also cast Chip, because it makes sense that we would have all of them. Lumiere and Cogsworth are an interesting pair in that they are like sort of the vanguard for the house staff, right? That really lead the charge in like trying to get Belle and the Beast together.
Cogsworth is more uptight though. He's
Absolutely,
more of like a rule follower.
And Lumiere is also he's a showman, right? He leads the whole Be Our Guest thing, and like you can tell that is not, well, obviously that is a song performed by characters in a musical. It is something that like Lumiere as a dude would be doing, right?
Yeah. Yes, he believes it.
He believes it. He's proud of the dinner he's presenting, and it's going to be an experience. So this has to be someone who's very presentational and like someone who's almost got a little bit of like an MC quality.
Yes. I should know this. This is embarrassing. From what is the name? Sylvando from Dragon Quest XI Echoes of Elusive's Age, a definitive edition for the Nintendo Switch.
Yes, his name is Sylvando. That's correct. What had you been calling him for a little while?
This is what I was about to call him, was Salvatore.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
No, this is good, and also like he's got the right like level of like kind of flamboyance. While also just being like a positive figure. Man, Sylvando's such a great character.
Yeah, Sylvando's great.
Oh man, I love him so much. Yeah, let's do it. Sylvando can be Lumiere. And that's we mentioned it from Dragon Quest XI. And while not a Nintendo game, they sure did publish it on Switch.
They sure did.
So I think it counts. Cogsworth, on the other hand, a little bit more of like a button up. He is the butler, right?
Right.
Or like footman or something.
Yeah.
He
seems like the one who's like the head of the household.
Yes.
Like
right. And is also like very knowledgeable about the castle, wants to like give tours of the place, right? Just more of like a fussy, like kind of fuddy-duddy.
Yeah, like a stuffed shirt.
Yeah, for sure. So who could this be? Stuffed shirt. Very proper.
Well, all right. What about something like Mr. Rossetti? Because, following the rules is so important.
Right. He does really want you to follow the rules. The only thing is, I can't imagine Cogsworth wearing overalls and digging holes. Right? Like, I get that the attitude is right, but the, like, activity is, like, way wrong.
Yeah.
Like, if Cogsworth appears on screen and he's got dirt on his face, you're like, I don't buy it.
No. What about, like, Falco?
Okay.
From Star Fox.
This is good. Falco's got, like, the right attitude, the right, like, level of superiority. There's, like, a little bit of, like, the hot shot, like, Han Solo quality that's, like...
Right, definitely not Cogsworth.
Definitely not Cogsworth, but, like, okay, what about Peppy, though?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, still has the sort of, like, confidence of a ace fighter pilot, but is also, like, he's been around the block for a long time. He used to fly planes with your father, and is, willing to, not just willing, but eager to tell you about, like, the good old days, right? And I think it's Peppy Hare.
Peppy Hare.
Yep. That Peppy Hare will play Cogsworth. That's good. That's very good. Mrs. Potts, a maternal figure. I'm loath to say here, is this just Rosalina and Aluma as Mrs. Potts and Chip?
I mean, yes,
but yeah. But you don't like it for some reason.
Well, no, I feel like the problem I have with Rosalina is really the problem we had with Sidon, where it's like it's got to be old Rosalina.
That's true.
Like this is more
Because Rosalina, as we know her, sorry, a babe.
yeah, too hot to be
Too
Mrs.
hot
Potts.
to be Mrs. Potts.
What about like Wrinkly Kong?
Although let's not sell like young Angela Lansbury short, right?
No, but like Angela Lansbury does not look like Mrs. Potts.
You're right. You're right, of course. I just wanted on the record that I think young Angela Lansbury was hot.
Yeah, sure.
Was a babe.
But she doesn't look like a teapot.
Right. Short or stout.
Uh-huh.
Now you offered a counter pitch here.
Well, I offered an old woman character. I offered a Wrinkly Kong.
But I kind of think this is good, though, because Wrinkly Kong, especially in Donkey Kong Country 2, is like she teaches you things at the Kong College, right?
Well, okay. I know I just said Wrinkly Kong. I know it should be a grandma, and I do think that Mrs. Potts has strong grandma energy. But when she's transformed back into human at the end, like, she's not that old. Chip is her son, presumably, not like her grandson.
Oh, well, okay. I will buy that. There is a part of me that always assumed that like Chip was just like a random orphan.
Sure.
Like
he's
recruited
like
to the
ward.
kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That like the young prince like took pity on and was like, stay with me. You will work in the kitchens. Like I think Chip is probably a sad story.
Got it.
But
sure, he's got like a busted leg.
Yeah, probably. He's got real Tiny Tim energy.
I think that there's a familial relationship. Like, I think Mrs. Potts gave birth to Chip.
Now, okay. But are you just saying that because she turned into a teapot and he turned into a teacup?
No, I'm saying, well, look, maybe she didn't give birth to him, but I think that she is the one that one way or another brought him to the castle. I don't think the beast or whatever is like human form had anything to do with it.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe he was like an orphan or something, but I think Mrs. Potts is the one who brought him in.
Sure. So what you're posing here is that like Mrs. Potts not actually as old as we think she is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But like Wrinkly Kong doesn't have to be that old.
You're right. You're right.
And we discussed on our recent NCS arcade about Donkey Kong Jr., and Donkey Kong 3, it is entirely possible, probable even, that Wrinkly Kong is Donkey Kong Jr.'s mother.
Yes. We don't have any, like, proof.
Right, but we do know that the original Donkey Kong becomes Cranky Kong, and Cranky and Wrinkly at some point are together.
Yeah.
So I think Mrs. Potts, Wrinkly Kong, Chip, Donkey Kong Jr.
Okay.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And also, the thing that's nice about Donkey Kong Jr. and Chip being like the one being cast as the other is that they're both like perpetually children, right?
Right.
We don't know what happens to Donkey Kong Jr. He just like disappears into the world before we see him grow up.
I think that's good. Okay.
Right? Now we are left with Belle and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
So the Beast needs to be someone genuinely terrifying, but has like a sweetness to them. Is Bowser too easy a slot in here?
Oh, Bowser is good. Bowser is really good.
Because there is like a sensitivity to Bowser. And, I'm drawing here from like the Paper Mario games and basically all the Mario RPGs, right?
Sure.
Where like Bowser has a tendency to like cry when things don't go his way. And like all he really like, yes, he wants to like conquer the Mushroom Kingdom and like kidnap Princess Peach and all that kind of stuff. But really all he wants is like to have his like army and his castle and like be brooding in there. So I think it's got to be Bowser.
Yeah, I think Bowser is really good. I'll just throw Meta Knight out there.
Oh, that's Meta Knight is good
as just
well.
Like another character that has a tough exterior, but is still Kirby's buddy.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean you're absolutely right. I wish I understood Meta Knight's deal better.
Yeah.
Cuz like he's flying around on that ship that like looks like his head, right?
Oh, he's got family money for sure.
Oh, yes, that's right.
He's a trust fund baby.
He's a trust fund baby for sure. which the Beast is as well. So that's not bad casting. But let's keep it as Bowser.
Yeah, I think Bowser, is great for this. So Belle, oh my goodness, why do we keep doing this to ourselves?
Yeah, that we leave the romantic lead for the end.
Well, I blame it on Nintendo because there are just so few characters in general that have, like real wants and desires.
Right.
And
And especially they have like
especially-
complicated wants and desires.
Yeah.
I know we tend to, whenever we do a casting, this is a character who shows up a lot, but I think this is a good spot for us to put Ayumi Tachibana from
Famicom
Famicom
Detective
Club. Someone who is very smart, very well read, who when we meet her, she and her friend are investigating like their other friend's murder, where it's like she is active and smart, and like loyal to her friends and family.
Oh yeah, like I 100% believe that she would trade places with her father.
100%. Because she's like, I'm gonna solve this,
Uh-huh.
right? Like, and if that means I need to be like embedded here and like go on multiple. Because also this is from in Emio the Smiling Man. She goes on like multiple coffee dates with like her old fencing instructor, basically, who's just like a total creep perv to her the whole time, and who like you sort of come to reveal over the events of the game that he is like, he's not really being pervy, but he's in like a pervy situation with a student. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're painting him as a little more dark than the game wants you to view him.
But I think you can draw that conclusion about him.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And this is something that Ayumi willingly exposes herself to because she knows it's like the only way to get
The information.
to the truth. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Ayumi is a great pull for this.
I love how much Ayumi shows up in these things when we do them.
Well, she's one of the few like
I know
strong Nintendo female characters
right.
that has like a point of view in an interior life.
Yep. Okay, so for Beauty and the Beast, we have Belle being played by Ayumi Tachibana from Famicom Detective Club.
The Beast being played by Bowser.
Maurice played by regular old Professor Egad.
Gaston played by Handsome Wario.
Of course. LeFou being played by Glass Joe.
Lumiere by Sylvando from Dragon Quest XI.
Cogsworth is being played by Peppy Hare from Star Fox.
Mrs. Potts played by Wrinkly Kong, and Chip by Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah, perfect. That I feel really good about that cast. And now let's move on to our final movie for the day, Aladdin.
And so we of course have Aladdin, Jasmine, the Genie, Jafar, Abu, Iago, and the Sultan.
Right. Okay. So where should we start here? Should we start here? Should we try to do Aladdin and Jasmine first?
Okay.
Let's save the Genie for last.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Genie feels like a main event sort of thing, and I don't want to keep putting ourselves in the position where we don't know how to cast the leads of the movie.
Yeah.
So Aladdin and Jasmine.
Mm-hmm. So Aladdin is scrappy.
Mm-hmm.
He's a street rat.
Yep. A diamond in the rough, right?
Diamond
like,
in the rough.
Has a strong moral code. Friends to animals, right? Like has obviously Abu and like the magic carpet, like which isn't an animal, but like it kind of is.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
This I think is where I want to put Samus Aran.
Mm-hmm.
When we can gender bend these characters, as we said, that's fine. And especially if you consider like Samus's origins as like an orphan being raised by the Chozo warriors to like be some special, key that unlocks like the battle against the Metroids or the X-Parasite or however.
That's right. Being like
ends.
in Aladdin, how Aladdin is the one who's able to get into the Cave of Wonders.
Yes, exactly.
Also, she has her own like moral code that
Mhm.
she follows, and Aladdin is similar, right? Because he is in a situation where he has to steal and all that kind of stuff, but he's doing it for like noble reasons. He's got to live.
Right. Got to steal to eat. Gotta eat to live. Tell you about it when he's got the time. I think this is it. I think Aladdin has to be Samus.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Great.
I think that's good.
Jasmine.
The transformation here is kind of in the wrong direction. But what about Midna?
Okay. So like, are you saying like Twilight Midna? Like, she's like back in like her human form?
No, but I'm saying because like Jasmine. Yeah, okay. Oh, here's what I was thinking, but you're
Yeah.
right that it's not correct. But where I'm going with it is like, okay, you have like royalty. There's like a transformation. The problem with like Midna is that she is transformed into her little imp form, and
Well, and I don't really think of Jasmine as a transformational character, right?
yeah,
Like,
it's more of a disguise.
oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, that she disguises herself to like go and like live among the common
Yeah,
people
get out of the
in
castle,
Agrabah. Okay, yeah, okay, that
out
that
of the
that that makes
palace.
sense to me. I wasn't tracking to that because that's such an early like beat for her, and then like she spends the rest of the movie just like as the princess that she always is.
Kind of. I mean, like the first. Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. But yeah, I mean, I feel like her main motivation in the beginning of the movie, anyways,
Right,
is that she's tired of being cooped up in the palace walls. She wants to like live amongst the people.
right. Yeah, okay, that's good. Who has a desire to live among the commoners? I just the thing that like the image that is popping in my head, especially like remembering Jasmine going like into the market and like having her that like hood up to be like incognito, is very Zelda in Echoes of Wisdom,
Mm.
right? So like and she's kind of like on the run, right? But I don't know. That's Echoes of Wisdom Zelda specifically is not a bad match for this.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's do it. We don't already have Zelda on here, right?
Nope.
Okay, great. Uh, yeah,
We're both
we're
typing.
both typing in the doc. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So Echoes of Wisdom Zelda specifically, and Samus Aran are Aladdin and Jasmine, but reversed. All right, Genie, we're coming back to.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do the animal sidekicks?
Yeah, let's do like Abu Yago, and we'll just throw the Sultan in there as
Sure,
well.
he's also an animal sidekick. That's fine. Abu, basically a dog, right? He's I mean he's a monkey, but like he's loyal, a little bit mischievous.
Uh-huh.
But like
I mean, he's Diddy Kong, I think. He's got a little bit of attitude.
sure. Is that too like monkey to monkey?
First of all, a Kong is not a monkey.
All right.
I mean, why look a gift monkey in the mouth?
That's a great point. Let me ask you this.
Swanky?
Well, why not Dixie?
Okay.
And I'm saying that partially because like we're starting to get close to an all-female cast for Aladdin.
Yeah.
I don't want to commit us to that.
I know, but here's the problem with it is that Dixie does not have like the 90s radical attitude in the same way that Diddy Kong does in those Donkey Kong Country games.
I mean, she does take out an electric guitar and jam on it. Right? Like I know Diddy Kong will like pull out his boombox and like listen to music that way. And she's got that like pink leather hat or whatever. What's going on there with that hat? Maybe it is Diddy Kong. Maybe you're right.
Well, let's not commit ourselves to it yet. Let's go to
Okay.
Yago.
Okay, great. Yago, a loudmouth bird.
Yep.
Who is kind of a sycophant for the main villain. Is this, hold on, what's his name? Girahim from Skyward Sword?
Oh, yeah.
Where like he's when Yago gets his revenge on the Sultan, he like is cramming crackers in his mouth, right? And like I can picture Girahim doing that.
Yeah. Girahim is good.
And that almost demands that Jafar has to be
Malice.
Malice, yes. Or is that his name?
Oh, right. No, that's not his name.
Malice is what you call like the evil gunk in Breath of the Wild, right?
Yeah.
Or Tears of the Kingdom, I can't remember which. Yeah, but what is the name of like the sort of proto Ganon from not Twilight Princess, from Skyward Sword?
Yeah, from Skyward Sword.
It's something like Malice or Chaos, but it's neither of those. Skyward Sword. People shouting at their podcast device right now. Not Gira.
Demise.
Demise. But I almost feel like that doesn't give enough of the like it doesn't give enough of like the creep factor of Jafar.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, should Girahim in fact be Jafar? Because Girahim is like a little bit of a creep, right?
Girahim is definitely a creep.
He's always like sticking his tongue out next to Link, being like weirdly seductive around him.
Yeah, so maybe Girahim is Jafar. And then and then maybe we don't try to like connect the two characters. Maybe Iago.
Yeah,
could just
be something else. Okay, great. So let's take Girahim and put him over on Jafar. Yeah, do we have let's stick more in like the loudmouth lane, right? Someone that is like going to just be like kind of a motor mouth, won't shut up, is annoying. Who is that?
Well, there's of course Slippy Toad, but Slippy's annoying in the wrong kind of way. Slippy's annoying as in like a little brother.
Right. And we need someone who's like Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
So who is that? Is it are there like one of the not like any of the Splatoon idols, like they don't really fit into that, right?
What if it's like the what's the name of the the Cap character in Minish Cap?
Oh, yes. No.
Vadi's the like villain.
Vadi's the villain. But yeah, the Cap is the Cap's name in the Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap is Mark's looking it up. It's happening too slow.
Yep.
Minish Cap.
Ezio.
Eslo. Yeah, I mean that's a great call. And he is like he's an accessory. So yeah, I think Eslo. Doesn't Eslo like wind up being like a Minish sage?
Oh yeah. Eslo's a good guy.
Right. But like if he was paired up with Girahim, he would be made to do bad things.
Yeah, and we're just picking somebody who could play Iago.
Right.
Not necessarily who is Iago.
And also like Iago when after the events of Aladdin and like the animated series kick in and like Return of Jafar and all that stuff, Iago goes straight. Like he hangs out with
that's
them,
right.
So like just like Eslo, he has the capacity to be good. Let's talk. So we still Abu maybe Diddy Kong.
Yeah, maybe Diddy Kong.
Let's go with Diddy Kong. The Sultan. So this is a clueless idiot royal who is sweet, which means he's Prince Mallow from Super Mario.
Oh, you're right.
I mean, again, like a well that I regret returning to over and over again. But like, hey, if we want a sweet idiot who's also a royal, it's got to be Prince Mallow. Dude thought he was a frog. He looks like a cloud. I'm just saying, couldn't be much dumber.
Okay, so this brings us to the genie.
Yes. Now, the genie in the movie, of course, Robin Williams.
Yeah, played by Robin Williams.
Who is like an unimitatable force in entertainment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess Dan Castellaneta did try to imitate him in Return of Jafar and the animated series. But they were like, no, thank you. Robin Williams, you come back for
Prince of
Thieves, right? That was called King of Thieves?
King of Thieves?
Might be King of Thieves. Prince of Thieves is the Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner.
That's right.
But like, there isn't, of course, but is there a Robin Williams equivalent within Nintendo?
Yeah, fast talking.
Robin Williams, famously a fan of Nintendo games, loves the Zelda franchise, named his daughter Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe we need to pull from although we've been pulling a lot from Zelda throughout this casting, but like is that maybe appropriate to pick a Zelda character to honor Robin Williams, or do we not need to
I think that'd
like
be
hold
nice if
ourselves
we
to
can
that?
if we can find one, if we can think of one that would fit the bill. Um, hmm. It's yeah. Somebody with like that zany Looney Tunes energy.
But can also like tap into absolute sincerity at like the drop of a hat. Not from Zelda, but like doing a similar like form changing sort of thing and like making fourth wall breaking jokes. I'm of course thinking about the Nintendo Badge Arcade Rabbit, the bunny that hosts Nintendo Badge Arcade, which is basically lost media at this point now because you can't play it on anything anymore. But like he's a goof. He physically changes his form in order to tell jokes. He talks too much. Like there's too much bunny in that game. But like fits that pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, that is a really good pick.
But I wish we could do a Zelda character. Maybe we can't. Maybe there is no Zelda character that like even comes close to this sort of energy, unless it's like the Happy Mask Salesman.
Right.
And
But the
like,
Happy Mask
that's too
Salesman is a little
sinister.
too, yeah.
And there's really nothing. That's maybe the amazing thing about the genie is that it presents this like world-breaking comedy act without making you feel like the story is in danger of like teetering off the edge of like comprehension or like feeling connected to it.
Yeah, it doesn't like diminish the reality of it.
Right. He's like the opposite of Deadpool in that way.
Yeah.
Right? With like Deadpool shows up and you're like, oh no, the reality of this is gonna fall apart. And the genie shows up and you're like, that's okay. He's just being Jack Nicholson, and it's okay. It doesn't ruin the reality. I think this might be the Nintendo Badge.
I think it's really good.
Bunny. Who he has a name we discovered not that long ago, right?
I don't remember.
Badge Arcade Bunny. I think it's maybe just Arcade Bunny.
Okay.
Hold on.
I was thinking the name was gonna be like Bert or something.
No, it's Baito, Baito.
Oh, okay.
Is like Japanese for rabbit, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
Baito
the Arcade Bunny, I think is we can refer to him that way.
Perfect.
All right, should we recap our cast for Aladdin?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the role of Aladdin, we have Samus Aran from the Metroid games.
For Jasmine, we have Zelda from Echoes of Wisdom.
For the genie, we have Baito, the Nintendo Badge Arcade Bunny.
Jafar is Girahim from Skyward Sword.
Abu is Diddy Kong from the Donkey Kong games.
Iago is Eslo from Minish Cap.
And the Sultan, big, dumb, lovable idiot that he is played by Prince Mallow, big, dumb, lovable idiot that he is. Mark, how do you feel about those?
I feel good. Let's look at our. I mean, this is Valentine's Day Eve episode, so let's look at our couples. Little Mermaid, we have the villager and Dimitri.
Sure. Okay. It does feel like they've got different goals in life.
Feel like they have different goals.
And for Beauty and the Beast, we've got Ayumi Tachibana and Bowser. They don't have long. I give it a week.
And then Aladdin is Samus Aran and Zelda from Echoes of Wisdom.
I think those kids got a chance.
I think this
they
is the couple that's going to work.
Together forever. All right, Mark. Let's close this out. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone listening. I hope you are spending time with people you love. Yeah, Mark is giving me an affirmative nod.
Nice.
That's a sweet thing to say. Yes, very good. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much to our 16-bit patrons, Connor McCabe, Patrice Millette, Kyle Seaborn, and Drew Mackey. We appreciate you all. We appreciate everyone who's listening to this show or interacting with us in any way. If you would like to join the Discord, just email us. I'll send you an invitation. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening.